Well, I did it. This is actually a little bit uncomfortable. Who would have thought wearing a giant square would not be the most comfortable thing when trying to lean against a wall? Hey fellas, this is so wildly uncomfortable. Hold on, ignore my hairy legs for a second. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. Hey, so I graduated. I did it. We're sitting there with biting anticipation. But yeah, we made it. We survived. It was a very interesting ceremony. I spoke. I got to turn the tassels for my grade, which was wild. And it got me thinking about some things, specifically the tassel turning. That, hey, I was president for a whole year. And I want to talk about that because I did a lot of things that I never thought I'd be able to do as a student. And I did it because I was the president or just because they all liked me. I don't really know. Let's talk about it a bit. I'm going to start at the beginning of the year and work my way down. So I'll start with this bit of context that I wasn't the school president until this year. So each grade has their own class president, except for the freshman class, really. Elections happen at the end of the year for the sophomore class president, vice president, junior class president, vice president, and then the seniors get student body president, their class president, which is basically the vice president, and then like 2 extra people on the board. Throughout all of high school, I was not president or vice president. I was not in any elected position. I was just on the student council for my grade. And then end of last year, today is actually the 1-year anniversary of the announcement that I won the election for student body president. I ran in freshman year, and then I skipped sophomore and junior year. I skipped sophomore year, and then I ran in junior year for student body president for the senior class at the end of the year. And I won just a year ago today. Which I guess was kind of an upset because, somebody else had been president for 3 years before this. And they were like, whoa, this kid. All right, we'll see what he does. It's been fun. I will start at the very beginning of the year. I did a lot of speaking. I've done that all year. I've spoken to groups of students. Like, I think the first day I talked to all the incoming freshmen who had just come in for their first day of school. Same thing with all the transfer students that were coming in from like other schools and stuff. I had to talk to them on their first day, be like, hi, I'm Joey. If you see me, say hi. I gave very similar speeches, I think, throughout the year. I don't really know what I talked about. I mostly talked about like the community, some of the stuff that goes on at school, my life as a student, that kind of thing. You know. If you know, you know. The ones who get it, get it. I got to do the same thing. I got to speak at all the open houses. We had 3 open houses this year. I got to speak at all of them. And this thing called Visitation Day, where you're able to, grade school students are able to come to the high schools and, see what a day in the life of a high school thing is like. But it's, all of the 7th graders in, the whole city get to go. And so I got to speak to a couple hundred 7th graders about that. Be like, hey, I'm Joey. Here's some things about me. Same thing. So there were definitely a lot of speeches throughout the year. Then, of course, I got to do my speech at graduation, but that technically wasn't for student body president. It would have been if I weren't valedictorian. Excuse me. Yeah, so I took my speech at graduation was actually the valedictorian speech, but if I wasn't valedictorian salutatorian, I would have given the student body president speech. That went to my the class president 1A, who I'm a big fan of. So that was the easy stuff, I guess. There were also some very big things we did throughout the year that were different than any year before, I think. Homecoming was in October, and that was difficult because we still couldn't do normal dances, really, because there's this whole worldwide pandemic thing going on, for all you who are not aware. And so we didn't know what to do. We were like, well, we can't exactly do it inside because we know we're going to have to enforce masks if it's inside, and nobody's going to do it. No one's going to wear them, or all the kids are just going to get really, really crappy about it. And so what we did is we held it outside, which was an endeavor unlike many others. It took a lot of time to plan where we do it, when we do it, how we do it, decorations, food, DJs, that kind of thing. It was very fun being a part of that. It went by very smoothly. I remember I got to speak on stage, and I got to announce we had a little stage out there for the DJ, and I got to go up on there and announce the homecoming king and queen and like all the court from all the younger grades, which is really fun. I remember that was a really great time. But yeah, that was most of homecoming. I was kind of just planning like, all right, we have this big event. How do we hold it outside? And we got around it. The next big dance in the year is the winter formal, which usually takes place around January, February. And we had a similar problem. Well, actually, a more difficult problem this time. We were like, okay, so we have another dance. People want another dance. But we still have this whole worldwide pandemic going on. We still have masks that we have to wear. But we can't do what we did during homecoming. Because if we took all those people in like their dresses and their like thin dress shirts and dress pants and put them outside in February in the 30-degree, 20-degree weather, they're going to freeze. So we couldn't do it inside or else people would get annoyed. We couldn't do it outside or else people would freeze to death. So what do? Well, this is where the winter casual came into play. I didn't get to come up with the idea. I was very proud of, I don't remember exactly who did, but we came up with it. I remember I went into the principal's office after an open house. I think it was our first open house of the year that I went in, and he was talking to a bunch of students, and they come up with the idea of a winter casual. And they kind of just meant it as a joke, more or less. But the principal and I were like, what if we did this? And so we did it. Not a ton of students showed up. It's like an 800-900 person school, and only like 200 to 300 showed up, I think, maybe 300. But it was a really, really fun night. So what we did is instead of making it a formal, we made it a casual. So what that means is we got sweatshirts made, custom sweatshirts with a custom logo, bright red sweatshirts, which were really cool. And the dress code was basically wear a sweatshirt or the sweatshirt. You can buy one. Wear sweatpants, wear pajama pants, wear whatever you want. We'll have like one speaker with some music playing. There was actually a DJ in the gym, which was silly because nobody actually went in there. There's a photo booth. There was like s'mores and like little fire pits where you could roast s'mores. It was a really chill night. Like it was kind of just relaxing. We had these really fancy lights set up all around the courtyard. It was really well done. And that one was probably one of the biggest things that I did as president. Like that was one of my biggest presidential actions. And I think I might be coming back next year in the future just because of how much kids liked it. Because it was so different from anything that we've ever done before. Like it wasn't a dance really. It was like a special little get together and it was cool. But it was very worrisome to see people's responses to it because like it was something so brand new that we'd never done before. And that was really cool to get to run. I remember we took like regular trips out, me and I'm not going to say names. We'll call her, I don't know what to call her, the lady in student affairs who like runs a lot of the student run events. She and we ran a Sam's Club together to get like a bunch of candy and marshmallows and stuff. There's a lot of last minute setup. We had to get a bunch of games. Like there was cornhole and can jam. It was a really fun night. And it was also a lot of like last minute improv kind of thing. But the kids who went seemed to really, really enjoy it. So I was very happy with how that went. They got to rent out fire pits and like space heaters and stuff. So, but yeah, I had a huge hand in that. That was basically that was such a weird translation because it started as a Google Doc on my computer that I made, and then it became this whole actual event, which was crazy. Like that was one of the weirdest things to see, like this thing that I just had in my head become a real tangible event that kids could go to and enjoy themselves at. That was the dream. That was the night that I think I felt the most like the president almost in like the whole year. It was crazy. So yeah, that one was good. We had a third dance. No, we didn't. Did we? No, we had proms. The only thing that I got to do for the proms was I got to pick the theme and the menus. I was not allowed to help with the rest because I was apparently like supposed to enjoy myself or whatever that means. Yeah, I got to pick the menus and I got to pick the theme. Basically what I did with the theme, it was City Nights, City Lights. And I just remember that we had a very similar like city theme for my 8th grade dance. And so I suggested that. They were like, yeah, let's do that. That's a good one. And so that was the theme. We also have another dance of the year usually called the senior dance, where it's just the seniors. We all go in the gym. Like there's a runway thing where I think they show off like their prom dresses or something. I don't really know. I don't know how it goes. But we weren't able to do that this year because it was like smack in the middle of the year. Everyone was really busy, and we just ran out of time. So what we ended up doing, this is a very last minute idea that I loved, that I actually, again, got to really help put together, was the senior barbecue. We did that just last week, actually. I think like less than a week before graduation, maybe Tuesday of last week, so a week and a half ago or so, something like that, where all the seniors were invited to the courtyard again. We all hung out. Last minute, the principal and I, the event started at 5:30. It was 5:05. And the fun thing this year has been that I'm like the embodiment of my principal's intrusive thoughts. And he thought, oh, this would have been fun if we had gotten water balloons. And I went, can we get water balloons right now, please? That'd be so fun. And so we went and we bought 1,400 water balloons before the event started, like 20 minutes before, which was really funny. Yeah, it was similar in style to the winter casual, where we all were just outside in that courtyard. We were hanging out. There were fire pits where you could roast marshmallows and stuff. There was also like a grill this time, though, with like burgers and hot dogs and stuff. There was a cotton candy machine, which was also at the winter casual. There was music. We got a speaker from the softball team that we got to use. It was really fun. Like, it was really cool. The water balloons were a great idea. The kids loved the water balloons. We broke a window, but like I expected that. And there were a bunch of games. There was cornhole. There was ladder ball. There was can jam. Like all the standard games at our school. It was very cool. Those were like there were the few main events that I got to do as president. There was something else that I just had that is leaving my mind. I can't remember what that is. Oh, duh. That's the big thing. So color games was the last big thing aside from like dances and open houses. Color games is basically like this big school-wide competition that we have every year where all 4 grades compete against each other for a bunch of different competitions for points. And then at the end of like a month, we all get together, have one big day outside, and whichever class wins gets a big plaque. And it's always the seniors. But it's never rigged, I found out. The past 2 years, I've been doing the scores myself, and it just has not been rigged, which is cool. I mean, the seniors just win because they want it more, I guess. So I got to coordinate that entire like month-long school-wide event, which was definitely the biggest undertaking I had. I had a few different things that I worked on during that. I had lunch. It was basically divided into 4 main things, okay? Lunch games, Joey in the Halls, the game show, and the final day. Those are the 4 main things you could get points from. So let's start with Joey in the Halls. Joey in the Halls, you guys might already know about, is the game show that I put on for 3 weeks where I got to go around with my friend Liz and ask a bunch of questions in a similar setup with this microphone, actually. There's a video on my YouTube channel. Go check that out. That was really fun, and it's going to actually, that is one of the things that I started this year that will continue into next year. Color Games usually has a very rigid structure with how it's set up, but this year I was given the opportunity to kind of just do whatever I wanted, and so I took that, and I just started making up stuff that I thought would be fun. And so at least Joey in the Halls is coming back next year. That means a lot to me, honestly. That's something that I made is going to continue into the next year. Anyway, there was also the game show, which I produced, which was really fun. We had 2 weeks of that. 1 week was a version of Jeopardy, with all the students. There we got like 2 students from every grade and played a game of Jeopardy with them with trivia of our school. And then I got 10 teachers to tell me 2 truths and a lie about themselves. Excuse me. And then we got a few more sets of students, and they had to guess which one the lies were, and whichever class got the most points won. Those were 2 weeks of the game show. That was cool. Lunch games, I got to come up with a schedule. Basically, we did like 3 games at every lunch period, every week. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we would do like a different game. Like this week would be, or say it's Happy Monday, we're doing Limbo today. We need 2 students from every grade to come up and play Limbo real quick. I think it was 5-10 minute games of stuff, like so that they could still have lunch periods but also have some fun. And then the big day was really fun too. There was a talent show that I got to help with the stage crew for. I let my friends Sierra and Carlina actually MC because I did not feel like it. And then I had to run like the big games once we went outside, because after the talent show you usher the kids outside onto the soccer field, and we have a bunch of games out there. Then I got to run that, like get on the microphone and the megaphone and be like, hey everybody, welcome, this is the first game, let's get all these people up, come on. It's fun. It was hectic, but it was very fun. Those are a lot of the main things that I really did as president. There was a bunch of smaller things as well, but less memorable for sure. I think out of everything, I think I did a lot this year. And I think my favorite part is the fact that there could be some kind of legacy left behind. That some of these weird ideas that I had with that my principal and the lady that I mentioned from Student Affairs that just put up with me and let me do, and now they could become like actual yearly events, is so cool. Like Joey in the Halls is already confirmed that it's coming back next year, not with me, with my friend Liz, who is my cameraman. She said that she's going to do it next year, and they, like, the principal is so fine with that because the student body loved it so much. That's crazy. That, like, just some random idea that I had is going to be a yearly tradition at an entire school. Like, kids that don't even know who I am in a few years are still going to know what this game is. They're not going to have any idea that I started it, but they're going to know, like, they're going to know of it. Which is crazy. That's so cool. The senior barbecue also, students seem to like that a lot more than they think that they would have liked the senior dance. So I think they're doing that next year too, which is so cool to see, like, students really care about these things, like these random ideas. Like I said, these all start with like a Google Doc or a piece of paper, just writing down ideas. And then it becomes full events that people end up loving. That's my favorite part, I think. As president, I got to make all these weird ideas. Like I got to do a lot of like formal stuff too, but the most fun that I had was making these events and seeing people just have fun at them. Like one of my favorite memories is I remember 2 of my friends were like hanging out and just dancing at the winter casual, and that made me so happy. Cause they were like smiling and they were happy, and I was like, cool. Even if this whole night was a disaster, which it wasn't, it was a very good night, but even if it had been a disaster, I would have had that at least one moment where those 2 people had a lot of fun because of this event that I made. And that's so cool. And hopefully that continues. All those events. I mean, not all of them, but some of them, or at least the ideas from them. Yeah, I had a wild presidency. I think they'll do fine next year. I'm excited for them to see what they do next. Hopefully they don't throw all my ideas out. Hopefully the new president comes up with some more ideas. I'm officially, once I turned this tassel, that was my last act as president, was standing up on stage and turning the tassel from the right to the left. As soon as I did that, I was no longer president of school. So, I hope that from my tassel turn to the next president's tassel turn, that she does a lovely job, and I know that she will. I think that's it. Those are most of the things I did as president. The next video is going to be an interesting one. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to go, though. Bye-bye.